Hello, beautiful people. We are back at it once again into the book, Excuse Me, Your Life is Waiting by Lynn Grabhorn. Well into, this is part 26, and we're now into chapter 5 of the book, Conditions Be Damned. And last episode, or I love it, it's like we're doing episodes here. The last part that we did was talking about Liz and the dilemma that she was having because she was having struggles painting, selling her paintings, and was going to lose her home. And she was just focused on all things that she didn't. And Lynn did an amazing job of just getting her to feel good, the feelings of just feeling good, regardless of what was happening. And so I hope you guys really enjoyed that. And let's go ahead and continue on into part 26. And let me just go ahead and get started here. This is our cherished problems. All right, here we go.
Our cherished problems. Liz was just doing what we all do, running around like a chicken with its head cut off as she tried to fix all the circumstances of the moment that scared her. Like a drowning person struggling against the lifeguard, the more frightened and hopeless she felt, the harder she fought with negative energy to find ways to remedy her situation. She was looking at the mess she was in, her disastrous conditions, finding them not to her liking, and frantically wondering how to change them through normal physical means. And the more she tried to fix, the more negative energy she flowed, and the worse things got. Everywhere she looked from within the dark hole she thought was her reality, she saw nothing but gloom. We've all been there. When things get rough, we either brood about it or hastily plot for ways to execute damage control, fix it, improve it, rectify it. Is there one among us who hasn't mused, if I could just get from here to there, everything would be fine? We are fix-it mongers, dutifully trained to respond to whatever conditions are in our face. But fixing is resisting our natural energy. Fixing is a closed valve. Fixing is whopping negative energy.
Hmm.
The challenge is to take our focus off the object of our anxieties or irritations and find the happier feeling of what we want in its place. In other words, we need to stop fixing and start feeling good. Let's say, for instance, your roof is old and needs to be replaced, but you don't have the money to do it right now. However, it's the rainy season, so the problem is somewhat pressing. You're also having major problems with the car, and the IRS is dunning you for back taxes. You've got a batch of nasty conditions on your hands, none of which are going to make you feel particularly sunny as you think about them. But think about them, you do. And think about them. And think about them. So, of course, they get bigger.
Right.
All of those negative conditions, known more endearingly as problems, are nothing but irksome don't wants. But they are so common to us and such a part of our world, we take them for granted as part of life. In fact, we wear them as honored badges of identity, a sort of one-upmanship in the sorry game of who can be the biggest victim. And naturally, the more we stew about them or brag about them, the bigger they become. Some negative conditions are serious problems, others simply minor annoyances. Yet whatever they may be, they are so prevalent, so all-pervasive, that we've made them a way of life. However, negative conditions are nothing more than the result of our own past focus and feelings and energy flow. That's all they are. Our negative energy flow is the cause, and the unpleasant conditions are the effect.
Hmm.
There is only one way to stop the messes in our lives from getting worse. Stop focusing on them. If we can accept from the depths of our being that our problems are not caused by our boss, our mate, our raucous kids, the IRS, or the drunk on the freeway, then we have a chance to wipe those problems away in the same way we attracted them, by our energy flow. Only this time through a significantly different vibration. I'm not going to pull any punches. This is tricky. Staring at and responding to what's in our face is what we do. To change that means we would have to give up our cherished right to have and agonize over our precious problems. Well, fear not. As long as we are physical, we will always be faced with conditions we neither like nor want. Otherwise, we'd be living in Sameville. So there will always be plenty of problems around for you to focus on if you should want to cut loose on occasion and flood yourself with negative energy, as I frankly enjoy doing from time to time. But our goal now is to change the way we react to our unwanted conditions so they cease being the focal point of our lives. Never, never face reality. Because of our upbringing and because of attitudes passed down over countless generations, we believe that what we see in the moment and what we are experiencing in the moment is the way it has to be until we either find a way to eradicate or accept it. We can see it, we're surely experiencing it, so in our book, that makes it reality. And yet reality, real reality, is nothing more than the result of how we've been flowing our energy. Let's say, for instance, you're living in a body you don't much like. You call that reality, which equates to that which is unchangeable and must be accepted. Or let's say you're currently living in a declining economy, which is affecting your income. You call that reality, a potentially disastrous condition over which you have no control.
Mm-hmm.
That's life. Accept it. That's the way things are. You can't fight City Hall. Stop knocking your head against a brick wall. That's the way of the world. Learn to take life on its terms. Within every life, a little rain must fall. Get your head out of the clouds. Life isn't fair. Wise up and face reality.
Mm.
Here's the flash. We do not have to face up to or put up with anything. All we have to do is learn to flow our energy differently. For nothing affects our experience except how we flow our energy. Nothing. With some things in our lives, those that are pleasing to us, our valve is naturally open. Because those conditions gratify us, our positive energy is attracting more positive things. But as we look at the majority of negative conditions, problems around us, our valve is slammed shut. Our connection to our source energy is barely enough to keep us breathing, and we wouldn't know a vibration of joy if it walked up and smacked us in the face.
Mm-hmm.
We're annoyed at this, steamed at that, worried about them, wondering how to correct this, complaining about that, afraid of God knows what all, depressed over everything, and vibrating such unceasing currents of negative energy all the time. It's a wonder we ever have any moments of joy at all. Just because you're living in the reality of a jobless market does not mean you can't attract a great job. Just because houses are not selling does not mean you can't attract a qualified, delighted buyer.
Mm.
Just because your body is not as strong as others does not mean you can't attract the strength to win the 400-meter race. Just because you've never worked in that market does not mean you can't attract the ability to be successful at it. Just because you've never been able to stop smoking does not mean you can't attract the willingness to stop right now. Just because you've had 2 divorces does not mean you're doomed to attract another catastrophe. Whatever mess or happiness we are living in this very moment, whether it be as an individual, a family, a nation, or a planet, that mess is the sole and direct outcome of how we were feeling and flowing energy yesterday and the day before that and the years before that. The law of attraction doesn't work a little here and a little there. It simply is. For you, for me, for the cosmos. We magnetically attract what we vibrate, and we have created it all, from fender benders to global wars.
Mm.
So from this moment on, never, ever accept reality as something to which you must resign yourself. Take your thoughts beyond whatever is in front of your nose that you don't like and put them on what you do like. If you don't, your so-called reality will never change. Granted, some ugly things may be glaring you in the face right now, or threatening you, or looking like a hopeless situation, but they are not set in stone. They must never be reluctantly tolerated. Unpleasant reality is nothing but an effect caused by negative energy flow. We can either live with those effects and suffer, or circumvent them and have a ball. Trick.
Okay. Wow, 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 wow. I am so blown away by this book right now. You guys have no idea. I mean, and again, I've heard this book and I've read this book numerous times, but I mean, this book is so spot on and it's just so easy to understand because everything is about energy and energy flow. So I really hope you guys were taking notes on this because I mean, there's just so much to dissect. I would definitely say go back and listen to it again, these last 2 parts, especially because these are the keys, really. And if you can just concentrate enough time, at least start with 17 seconds and build from there of just feeling good all the time, what your life would be and not really worrying about any of your situations because it does not matter where you are. I don't even care if you're homeless right now. And that's a very tough situation, but you are creating the homelessness in your reality. You have to want to think different. You have to look at the situation different. So I hope you guys get that. Make sure you comment down below if you guys are. And until next time, you guys make it a great day. Take care.